Oh, yo, welcome to the show. You already know. Am I joking?
No, keep going. That was good.
Yo, welcome to the show. You already know. About to talk about TikTok, yo. Da 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 da.
Something
Uh,
about the accent with the rapping just gets me every time. Like I listen to a lot of British hip hop,
yeah.
and there's like a clear distinction between like West Coast or East Coast hip hop from the States versus like UK hip hop. And it's a
Mhm.
totally different vibe, but like it's so good.
Who do you listen to? Who have you listened to, or who do you listen
Oh
to?
God, I'm so bad at names. I'll send you my playlist, my Spotify playlist. I
Yeah, please
I don't
do.
know. It's
Yeah,
so
please.
yeah. I don't ever know. I don't even know like who's on like top charts right now. I just know all the lyrics to the songs, but I couldn't tell you who created them or who's the artist on them or what
Okay,
album.
I'll throw
I'm
one or
one
two
of
names
those.
out. How about
Okay.
Stormzy?
Doesn't sound familiar.
Really? He's worldwide now. Dave?
Yeah? Just Dave.
Yeah, literally just Dave.
Just Dave.
Yep, slim black guy,
Uh
really talented.
Dave. No,
Are you googling?
no. I'm looking to see if he's on my thing. Hold on.
Okay.
No.
Who else is there? No. Wow. Okay. Wiley. Chip. Who else? Who else?
Oh wait,
Tiny.
yes, Dave. Dave is on. Yes, Dave. Dave is one
Yeah.
of them.
Dave.
Okay,
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about. Clash. What was Storm? Yeah, I know who you're
Yeah.
talking about.
Cool.
Stormzy. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have them on playlists.
Wicked. Perfect.
I
Sick.
love it. Yeah, so that's gonna have to be like the intro outro. I love the branding, by the way. This TikTok vibe that we have going on.
Yeah, you know, it's a little something,
Um,
something I threw together last minute. You know what I mean? I tried to find an
well,
overlay, but we'll do that next time. We'll do that next time,
yeah.
man. I
No,
think
this
it
is
looks
sick. I
cool.
love it.
Very relevant to what we're talking today, which is TikTok, man. TikTok. Well, first of all,
Yes.
TikTok to me is like a complete minefield. Um,
Yes.
you know, sometimes I post things, sometimes it works, then I post other things, and sometimes it doesn't work. So
Hmm.
do you want to kind of go into like what TikTok is in terms of a platform and like who usually uses it and that kind of thing?
Yeah. I mean, TikTok. Everyone remembers Vine, right? Like, did you have Vine? Like, was it as a big of a hit across the pond as it was here? Because like for a hot second in like the early 2010s, I would say everyone was on Vine. Like people were becoming like superstars from Vine, Vine influencers. Like
Hmm.
Vine was this like short form like snacking content, if you will, that like wasn't it wasn't really happening anywhere else. And so people were having a lot of fun with it. And then Vine blew up, I think, in like 2000, I don't know, 14 or 15. Don't quote me on that because I don't think that that's true.
Yeah.
But one of those years in like the early 2010s. And then I think it was like Byte Dance, like musically, like, okay, so
Musically, yeah.
Vine or TikTok's whole thing is like it started obviously in China. ByteDance was the parent company, and it was like, and Musically was, I think, the parent company to ByteDance at the time. And it was all like music videos, like karaoke style, where you could basically just like record yourself singing along to something, and then it becomes this like viral hit. And like that was it. That was the core of the platform. And
Mm.
then and then all of a sudden people started creating things other than just like music videos, and it became like, oh my god, there's something around this. People are talking into their phone and doing stupid parodies, waxing poetic on certain topics, like
Hmm.
letting people in on the tea, spell, whatever it is. But it was like 20 seconds long or less, or yeah,
Yeah.
even less, because I think TikTok started with a really like low threshold for how long you could have your videos. Now it's up to like 60 seconds, I think. I don't
It's
know.
3 minutes now.
Stop. They
Three
increased
minutes.
it.
Yeah, 3 minutes now.
See, yeah, it used to be like 20 seconds or something,
Mm.
because the whole point was like you put your content out there, and it has to be as like ephemeral and engaging as like quick hitting as possible, and then it goes to die. Like you just swipe past it, and like that's the whole experience of TikTok, is that it's quick hitting, short form snacking content. Like it's not a
Microwave
full
content.
meal.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
microwave content.
Hmm.
Yeah.
for sure.
Exactly. And it's designed for, you know, short attention spans. And I would argue that it even like exacerbates that.
Yeah.
So, but like many people, I'm also a TikTok addict,
Hmm.
self-proclaimed. And it's good. It's easy. And I think now we're seeing like it went from being like this like funny parodies, like music videos, like music sing-alongs, karaoke moments, to like now there's all of these different like silos of content types that people are creating content for. So there's
Hmm.
like, you know, you have really serious content, you have like therapists and authors and you know, people who really have like important things to say are using TikTok as their platform to communicate directly in these like short snippets. And then you also have, you know, the viral trends that are happening, people wearing bread on their feet or
Yeah, yeah.
wiping a mirror or whatever it is. Like,
Mm.
those are the things that I think make it fun and everyone can participate. One thing I didn't mention is that TikTok is the playground of Gen Z. You know,
Mm.
it's like,
Yeah.
so it's interesting because up until really like mid pandemic, I would say people were not really like, you know, TikTok was like for the kids. TikTok's for the kids. And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, everyone, including millennials and their parents, were like, we should join TikTok in the middle of the pandemic. And everyone
Hmm.
learned how to make bread and, you know, participate in some of these funny challenges. And so it became a little bit more of a mixed bag, I think, in terms of audience, but it
Yeah.
definitely skews still on the younger side. And so, like, a lot of creators and even brands that are on the platform now, I think, are using the younger audience to be a really like core part of their purpose on the platform. Is like
Yeah.
they can reach a lot of those people. You're not going to reach, you know, your 65-year-old uncle on the platform, but you will reach your 16-year-old cousin who has a lot of deep thoughts and feelings about a certain topic.
Hmm.
Um, so it's
Yeah.
interesting. I think there's so much potential with where it's going. Obviously, now it's like been super controversial, but TikTok as a whole, I don't think it's going anywhere, and I think it will continue to compete with Instagram,
Hmm.
just like the Reels situation,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
Instagram, Zuckerberg, we're watching you. We see what you're
Yeah.
doing with those reels. And yeah, I mean, tell
Yeah.
me, how do you envision TikTok being a beneficial content play for you?
Yeah, I was going to get into that just after this actually, because you were
Okay.
talking about, because it started off as musically like actually let's
Hmm.
go way back. Vine was
Yep.
maybe like the first thing that kind of came out. I think it was like a 7-second maximum thing that you could do.
Hmm.
In the UK, there were only like a few Viners I knew of, and that was Dapper Laughs. He used that as his first thing to kind of plateau of. And then there was a
Yeah.
guy called Jack Jones, and they were both doing these similar sorts of content where they just walk up to random people in the street, flick them on the back of the ear, and say,
Hmm.
"Here you go," with some kind of pun like that, and it would be funny.
Yeah.
And they kind of blew up from that, and they were like the two main guys.
Hmm.
And they kind of went off into TikTok as well, and they're kind of similar, doing the same thing, but doing other stuff as well.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, in terms of TikTok right now, yeah, like he was saying, there's a lot of people using it for different things because, firstly, a lot of people look at TikTok and think, oh, it's just for kids or whatever. So
Right.
my business isn't really going to translate on TikTok because it's just a bunch of kids. But now it's completely different. You've got people like Gary Vaynerchuk on there, James Altucher, like big names, big names. And Gary
Absolutely.
V has been pushing TikTok for the longest time, trying to get people to kind of transform their thinking a little bit from that old
Yeah.
school, let's stay on Facebook and stay on YouTube vibe, come on TikTok because that's where all the attention is, not just Gen Z. Everybody's on there now. Even businesses are, doing
Yeah.
funny little videos to promote their stuff. Do you know what I mean? Um, but the thing is, to your question, what I want to do is I don't think I'm the type of person to be doing the dancing, pointing and then
Yeah.
the letters come up and point down there and the letters come down there kind of thing. My
The
style is a little
dun,
bit,
dun, 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 dun,
yeah,
all of like the yes. It's
yeah,
it's addicting, and we all know like there have how many playlists or songs have come out of TikTok. That's what blows my mind, is
yeah,
these like ridiculous videos that you're just like, how is this a thing? How is this viral? And yet you
hmm,
still watch it like 20 times and you're just like,
yeah,
you can't stop.
yeah,
But I think that's like the entire nature of TikTok, is this like ephemeral, underproduced, like highly produced content isn't gonna fly on TikTok, right? Because there's
Yeah.
like this level of like extreme authenticity, and I think that's also the expectation of the audience and users, is that people are going to be putting out their most authentic stuff. They're
Yeah.
not going to be, renting fancy camera equipment and
Mm.
hiring all these editors to produce one TikTok video. Like, it's
Yeah.
literally the funnier and more engaging it is almost correlated to the amount of time, or the short amount of time, that it took to create the piece.
Hmm.
And just like the authentic vibe that kind of comes through on it. And I think people see through that. I think Gen Z sees through it.
Mm.
And that's why it's so engaging, because it's like people at their most genuine self. The
Yeah,
most embarrassing, ridiculous things that you could do, people are doing it in 20 seconds on TikTok. And
for
that's the
sure.
appeal in so many ways, I think of it. But like, to your
Yeah.
point, people are using it to expand. Um, it's a really good place for knowledge. And I don't know if you've like seen the Learn on TikTok hashtag at all
This
in your.
exactly. This is an
Yeah,
amazing segue you're about to
it's
do right
so
now, Karen.
good. Okay, yeah, I'm hearing you. All right, I'll,
Yeah.
I'll let you I'll let you drive the ship.
Yeah. No, we can co-drive, but I like your segue, man. I love this teamwork we got right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, learn on TikTok. That's what I'm trying to kind of capitalize on, because my approach is tutorials, right?
Hmm.
So my kind of thinking is, the framework is, I post kind of like the video, what I've done, like a kind of the kind of Gibson Hazard stuff. I'm not sure if you saw a few of my other stuff,
Hmm.
distractions, how to make coffee, and that thing I did for
Yep.
Sharon. So what I want to do is show people how I did that in a TikToky, quick, short synopsis kind of way. John
Yeah.
inboxed me a guy that did this kind of thing, where it starts off with this half screen of him talking at the bottom or top, and on the other side of the screen is his actual video, and then he
Hmm.
goes into like a quick, detailed slash brief way of explaining it in this cool kind of quirky style. So what I'll
Yeah.
do is I'll quickly show you the first tutorial I did to kind of show you
Okay.
what I'm getting at. Okay, 1 second, I got it here. This is how I got the girl with the camera into the scene to make distractions. So a lot of this video features a lot of stock footage. So I got the stock footage from Envato, downloaded the girl with the camera, and downloaded the alleyway scene that she was going to be placed on top of. Then imported that right into After Effects. So once I got her in After Effects, I had to cut her out the scene. So in order to do that, I had to use the Roto Brush tool. I started to cut around that and make her into an asset that had an alpha channel behind it. It doesn't matter if you miss everything, because later on down the line you can kind of edit that out. So as you can see, it's now done, and there's a lot of rough edges around the side. So in order to fix that, I use the Refine Edges tool. So as you can see, once you go around this, it kind of looks like a negative camera, and the rough parts of it don't really make it look like hair. It just looks like a cardboard cutout. So now it looks a little bit better. So once that was done, I placed her from that layer on top of the background layer in the actual main composition. And now look, she's part of it. These people think I'm crazy talking to myself in here, but you know what? This is my job. Who cares? So
I love it.
that's the first kind of video, sharp, quick, punchy, straight to the
Yep.
point, yet
Yep.
informative. Is that something that you think could kind of go on TikTok, that could potentially
Yeah.
kind of work?
Yeah.
Obviously
Absolutely.
John showed me the guy that did it, but he's got a lot of followers at the moment, but I don't think he started from doing this kind of stuff. But if I'm trying to build my profile up by doing this from the get-go,
Yeah.
along with other stuff, do you think it's a good play?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's the type of stuff that people are looking for on TikTok. People who are using TikTok as a place to discover new content, but also creators to discover new ways to do things. Like,
Hmm.
I as a creative, I'm always looking at like Photoshop tutorials, typography things, all on TikTok, because it is that like super short form knowledge share. It's like 20 seconds of here's how I did this. And I think something that really resonates on TikTok that's hard to replicate elsewhere is the fact that it is like so short form, but it's also like it's not always the buttoned up proper way to do things, but that's what people
Mm.
are looking for. They're looking for like the hacks. Like, I want to hack on how I can do this cool typography treatment in 5 minutes, instead of having to go the agency route of what would be a whole entire process and like all these different steps to it. Where on TikTok, it's literally kids and creators and just really like sharp know-how people who are like, cut through all the BS.
Mm,
Here's what you need to know. 1, 2, 3. This is how I did it. This is how you can do it.
mm,
And that's what people are really drawn to. And there's something very engaging about the fact that you can learn almost how to do something end to end in like 30 seconds. At
yeah.
least giving, you're probably going to need to have more time to like digest it and like probably going to need to rewatch it a few times if you're actually going to follow along.
Mm,
But in that time period, you see something for 30 seconds and you think, I could totally do this. Like, I'm going to save it. I'm going to come back to it later. And I don't think you would have that same experience if you were just like searching on YouTube how to do something, how to do a creative thing,
yeah.
because TikTok serves it up like so organically, and the way that we consume it is also organic and it's quick. I would say like add in some banners to it, some like
Hmm.
call outs of like step one, or this is what I do. That's a thing that I've noticed all the time. I think because TikTok and creators in general are trying to gear more towards like accessibility, and you don't have to have your volume on if you want to watch the video, so you can still
Mm,
see like what they're talking about. Those text overlays are always, at least from my perspective, are always hitting the points, when creators are doing these like kind of tutorial things or knowledge share things. So, but
yeah.
that's exactly what people would look for. This is the space to be doing it. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
I
Because the thing,
great.
one thing I'm trying to work out right now is because there is this pressure of trying to make it really short and concise and
Hmm.
straight to the point.
Hmm.
But with certain detailed subjects, you can't always make them 1 minute
Right.
or 1 minute 30 or something like that. So, in your
But I
opinion,
think
is
that's
there
a
a
good thing
yeah? But is there a
because
difference with like how short it is and how long it is? And everyone's attention span is different.
yeah. No, you know what? I think the shorter the better, because it gives you the opportunity to create more content on that topic later on, based on people's engagement, right? So like
Yeah.
you do this quick, like 30 seconds, here's how to do something. Yeah, you might gloss over some of the details. You're giving the core framework of what you need to do in order to accomplish this cool, new skill or whatever it is. But you might not, of course, this could be a full 30-minute video of you going into all of the details. But instead, because you're serving up this short form version, it gives people the opportunity to engage and ask, like, well, how would you do it this way? How would you do it this way? What about this? What about these layers? All of these questions that might come up. And that's where you can say, check out part two,
Mm,
follow up,
yeah.
or comment
Yeah.
it, or use the comments as a post that's stuck to your next video, which
Mm,
which you see all the time. It gives like that natural opportunity to create more content around what people are asking questions and want to know more of. So it's almost like you're feeding it, you're hand feeding it to people, in small bites, which I love.
yeah. Definitely. There's this I do struggle sometimes with content in the respect that in order to stay current or whatever, you need to kind of
Yeah.
tackle things that are trending. But at the same time, I don't want to just be prisoner to what's trending. I want to create
Yeah.
what I want to create. So I need to find creative ways in order to create what I want to create, but maybe use, I don't know, some kind of trending background music. That one that I
Yes.
showed you works perfectly for that because it's 1 minute. And I don't think, to the best of my knowledge, that you can add trending music that's longer than a minute. Or maybe I'm
Yeah.
wrong. Maybe, yeah.
There might be a few that exist, but yeah, for the most part, they are pretty short. That's a great way to do it, though. Like, if you think about, and a lot of people, I think, on TikTok have discovered this hack of like, if you use these songs that, everyone is seeing in your For You page, you'll start to get that traction as well, simply because of the fact that that's the trending song. These are the types of people who are interacting with that song. And so the TikTok algorithm is going to serve up your content with whatever the backtrack is that's
Mm,
trending to people who were previously engaging with that type of track.
yeah.
So it's kind of a win-win. Obviously, there's room for error in there, and that people, and I've seen it before too, because like all things in life, TikTok's algorithm isn't perfect. But I've seen people who think that they can get away with like using one of the trending songs, and it's literally just them like I don't know, like
Brushing their
face
hair,
to face. Yeah,
fluttering their
brushing their hair, like
eyelashes,
doing these, and they
flexing
have
their
like
muscles.
4 views or
Yeah,
like
yeah.
4. So like sometimes those will pop onto my For You page, and I'm a little confused as to what is TikTok trying to do right now. But
Yeah.
I think those just are examples of like content that falls through the cracks, because a lot of people will try to jump on the trend game, and for certain scenarios it works out really, really well. Like if you use one of those trending tracks to a really highly engaging tutorial piece, like that's kind of the perfect recipe for success or
Yeah.
engagement, if you know all things are equal.
Yeah.
But
One huge TikTok cocktail.
a TikTok cocktail, I follow a lot of those. I follow a lot of the like iced coffee cocktail drink mixing. Like speaking of ASMR, they have an entire TikTok ASMR talk. That's another thing, is that all communities have like insert word here talk.
Yeah.
Like you got narc talk, you got um I don't know. What are some other ones? Psycho talk,
Psycho.
psychotherapy talk. I don't know.
Yeah.
Creative talk. Like you have all these little subcultures that are coming out of it, and it's kind of perfect.
Yeah.
I lost
So
my train of thought.
it's kind of about like maybe finding your niche and kind of sticking to that, and over
Yeah.
time it will grow. Maybe not just jumping on the trend just because it's a trend. Otherwise, you just
Yep.
completely, there's no consistency in your work, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think finding the trends within your community or within your niche as well, because those move quickly. But it's a great way, I think, for smaller creators who are just kind of starting out, and also like the bigger creators who are in those specific communities, those talks,
Mm,
um, to kind of jump on and understand what other creators in their area, in their space, are also doing that are trending. Because when you really look at it, like they're relatively small pools. The bigger grouping of things, which is everything that gets funneled into your For You page, has any opportunity to be viral and just sort of from a mixed bag of content. But when you start really getting into like the more niche things within all of those communities, whether it's learn on TikTok, whether it's cooking, whether it's like how to be a better writer, whatever it is, like there's
mm,
going to be these communities where there's going to be like thought leaders or influencer creators within each of those communities. And so a good tip for people who are also trying to create and understand, how to grow their TikTok audience, is look at what those people are doing.
yeah.
Look at what those top, the authors are doing on TikTok. If you're an author, look at what the fashion people are doing. If you're a fashion designer on TikTok, and see how your content can, you know, emulate that in a sense while still
Mm,
maintaining your own brand authenticity. I think that's the key. And what's funny is like I've definitely stumbled on, and I'm sure like many people who are, constantly scrolling on TikTok for, 6 hours at a time, it's casual. You see videos that you're like, I want to see more of this. This was hilarious. This was great. Like I want to see more of their content. So you swipe right, you go to their profile, and then you see that they've done the same video like 20 different times. The same
mm,
exact video. They've just recorded it 20 different times.
mm,
Same music, same script. And that's when it kind of gets like, okay, you had one that went viral out of that. And so like I think it again points to some of the flaws that are in the algorithm. But that's like to your point exactly. A lot of times it just takes doing the basics. Grabbing the viral music, doing the most like authentic level of content that people are going to engage with, and then just putting it out there. It doesn't have to be this whole production every time. And yeah, it's the simplicity of it. And a lot of times people will model their TikTok videos after another creators, like literally the
mhm.
exact same thing. How many times have you seen that, where somebody finds a viral video and then recreates it, and then theirs also goes viral? So
Yeah.
it's an interesting dynamic. There's so much room for growth. Like there's so much space on the platform to continue, pushing content, growing your audience, growing your brand. And I think we're seeing like the tip of the iceberg. It'll be interesting to see how TikTok like nets out over the next couple years, even as
Yeah.
its audience grows with it, really.
Mm. Definitely. And for the creatives, it's just about being consistent,
Yep.
persistent, and just keep putting out content that's decent and within the realms of your niche. But one thing that I did want to ask you about is the time of day to post,
Hmm.
time of week to post. You know, you read so many articles. It's like, oh, you got to be wearing pink. You got to spin around twice, and you got to jump in the air and then post at 4 o'clock
Hmm.
p.m. Otherwise, your stuff won't be seen by anybody. There are just so many different articles saying so many different things. It can
Exactly.
scramble your mind a bit sometimes.
Yeah.
What's your take on it?
I say I think there's two parts to it. Use your intuition, use your knowledge of your audience. And this is where understanding your audience is so important. Like,
Mhm.
not just understanding in that, what their demographics are, that they're this percentage male, this age range, like that's all fine and dandy. But if you don't really know what it is that they're interested in, where they are in the world, then you're gonna have a hard time creating content specifically for
Mm.
them. So take the time to really understand, stalk people, stalk through their stuff, see what they've liked, see what they're following, see when they're active. And then the second part of that is using any built-in analytics that you can. Instagram does it, TikTok does it for creators. You can look through your insights and see when people are online. And there's been a million and one, articles and advice recommendations written about like the best time to post. But ultimately, it comes down to, what is your data telling you, and what do you know about your audience? I think that's the best way to do it. There's never going to be like a perfect formula for it, because
Mm.
there's, people are all over the world. But the more that you can align with what exactly your audience is doing, where they're located geographically, and when you know that they're most online, is interesting. We have, over on the food fight side of things, we're working with a client right now, Robert Brace, who,
Hmm.
a
Mr.
lot of
Brace.
his the Brace life, his audience is surprisingly very engaged in the evenings. And I think a
Mm.
lot of that comes from the fact that, they're professional business women. They value their lifestyle and health choices. A lot of their free time comes in the evening. They have families.
Yeah. Mm.
And so after their workday is finished, that's the time that they have to like kind of turn in and spend time on social media, which is really like in stark contrast to other clients that you might see. Maybe if it's like an e-commerce brand, or it's an author or something, they might have an audience that's super engaged first thing in the morning, 6 a.m. Eastern time. People are on their phones scrolling. It's not the case for all clients, or for
Mm.
all brands. So just like knowing what the lifestyle, and understanding where and how your audience is engaging, is going to be the best way, not only to create content for them, but to know when to send it out to get the most eyeballs on it, because that's the goal.
Yeah. How do you know so much about TikTok, by the way? I think you should write a book. It should be like a word play
I
on your name. It should be like tailor your
TikTok,
content to TikTok or something like that. Or
right?
TikTok. I like that.
TikTok, yeah, it's gonna be a subculture. Just watch.
Hashtag
I used
TikTok.
to write about this, Ash. Like, this used to be my bread and butter before coming over here. I was the managing editor over at a company called Third Door Media. We wrote for these publications called Search Engine Land, Marketing Land, and Martech Today. Kind of in the same space as like TechCrunch and DigiDay, and like all of those like online, The Verge, like those online publications that basically keep tabs on the internet industry as a whole. And so part of my job was just really understanding, how do people use social media, and like what are the best strategies to move forward with it? How can brands take advantage of it? Because I could talk about it all day. I think there's
Mm.
there's so many like nuances to it, and I just find it fascinating. But TikTok is just one of those, uh it's like one of those phenomenon that come around once every like decade or something, and it just takes the world by storm. Because if you think about it, it just blew up. Like,
Mm.
it was nothing to now, a multi-billion-dollar company in 2021. Just a few
Yeah.
years ago, people didn't even have it on their phones. So I think it's fascinating, and the way that people are using TikTok is unlike any other social platform. So
Yeah.
there's so much opportunity for it, and I'm obviously a self-proclaimed TikTok addict.
Mm-hmm. What kind of
Addict
things you
talk.
post on? What kind of things you post on your TikTok?
I'm not a poster. I'm like a consumer of the content.
Oh, okay.
I do have like some random stuff posted that I was just playing around with. I was posting a lot of stuff of like my dog for a while. It's not like funny stuff. It's just like me playing around with the app, trying to learn how the editing features and stuff work, and
Yeah.
then posting it for the hell of it. But I'll shoot you over a couple examples. It's
Cool.
just hold on to your seats. It's not that it's not that riveting.
Yeah.
But it's good. I know. I need to make sure I'm following you too now because
yeah, I need you to keep on. I need you to be my guardian angel on there, man.
exactly.
Keep an eye on my stuff to make sure. I need you to curse me out when I'm posting something that sucks.
I got you.
Yeah. Take this
Yeah.
down. What are you doing? It's just a cat. It's not yours. Get out the street. Go and take care of your family.
You animal. No, really, like I'm so down for that. I'm so down for it.
Cool, man.
Awesome.
Cool. I love chatting to you, man. I think we can end on. I think we can end on. Are there any pages that you would recommend people to check out to see their strategy? I definitely think quickly while you ever think about it. I think mine definitely is Tasty. We were talking about food earlier. They're really good. It's literally just like the POV over the top bird's eye view thing of their thing. They're literally straight to the point. Their wallpaper is the finished product, and they get straight into it. Cool. A grain of salt, tablespoonful of pepper, put it together, and before you know it, you got a 40-second video and you know how to cook chicken tikka masala or whatever. So Tasty, definitely check out for sure.
Tasty is awesome. It's interesting like what brands are doing on the platform. So I would suggest anyone who doesn't really know where to start, look at obviously what the influencers in each of the niche spaces are doing as individual creators, but also look at what the brands are doing because they're trying to find their footing for the first time in a very creator centric space where like brands are almost like not invited. Like you can't sit with us because you're not an individual creator. You are a company trying to sell your product, but it's really interesting how they've found ways to like kind of find their footing in it. So like Chipotle is one that's done some really cool stuff. You guys have Chipotle, right?
Yeah, we have that.
Yeah, that's a thing. Okay. So like they had a whole bunch of people from their stores doing like behind the scenes content of like their chips and like the chip choir. I don't know if you saw that, but like all of the chips were laid out on a table and they were all singing. And it was like one of those choir songs, and it just became like this ridiculous viral hit. Chipotle kept building on that momentum and creating this like off the cuff random stuff of like behind the scenes that was just like so organically funny. And then like there's been cosmetics companies that have done the same thing. Like Target, I think, is on there. I don't know. It's just interesting to see what brands are doing. So I would definitely suggest for anyone who's curious about how to monetize, how to make a splash, or how to just grow your TikTok, like see what the brands are doing. Look at your favorite brands if they're on TikTok, see how they're engaging. And it's also interesting to look at some of your favorite brands who aren't doing a good job on TikTok and seeing that like their Instagram and Facebook have millions of followers, but their TikTok only has 200 followers and it's been around a year, and you're like, what is the lapse here? Yeah, exactly. So see what people are doing. That's the best way to learn anything, right?
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Well, Tay, thank you for joining me on here, man. It's been fun. We definitely need to do this more often.
Yes.
We'll have to think of a next subject to talk about, but I love dissecting TikTok, man. I learned a lot, and I'll be watching this back for sure.
All right. Well, don't regret it, but you're going to have to add me on TikTok so that I can just DM you all of the videos that come, through my mind stream of consciousness day in and day out.
Cool.
No regrets.
All righty.
I'll talk to you later, Ash.